Well, hey, it's Andryanna, and I'm so glad that you're here on The Juggle is Real. I'm excited to share this episode with you. And I wanted to, you know, check in first, say hi, especially if you've been juggling all the things lately. I know that it's summer, we've got this beautiful season ahead, and I'm currently away actually this week with my family. We're soaking in a bit of chaotic, giant, love filled visiting with my parents and my three brothers, their wives, and my boys, as well as my brand new, well, she's like 4.5 month niece. And it's this tradition that we look forward to every summer because we're now spread across all of these different places, countries, cities. And there's something just so special about coming together and we're all under one roof. And it's like this big, I don't know, like loud, but like feeling like kids again. And there's nothing to do, right? Like there's no activities, there's no carpools. We're just like chilling together. And sure, there's, lots going on, but it's those things that like when I hear someone say, like, oh, you only have 18 summers, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like if, when I'm the age of my parents and my three boys with their families, we all get together for the summer and do something like this, like that is life goals to me. So while I'm off, we're going to be making some memories. And, I'm obviously going to be refereeing and talking about handing out popsicles and trying to make sure no one has too much sugar. I did want to share an episode with you that is a replay of an episode that I recently recorded as a guest on Your Cup of Joy, which is hosted by the absolutely wonderful, beautiful, incredible Ariana Christie. And if you don't already follow her, she is also a mom of three. She's a CrossFit queen. She is a content creator. She's the host of Your Cup of Joy, as well as the new podcast, which is called Friend of, which she co hosts with Renee Rena from the Mom Room. And they have this new show that they're talking about reality TV, and they're going through the episodes. And both of them actually were on The Juggle is Real. So you can definitely go back and check out those episodes. Ariana most recently was in episode 129, which is finding connection in motherhood, career, philanthropy, and just looking at where we can get that fulfillment. It's a really beautiful episode if you want to go check that out as well. And for today's episode, this replay of me being on Your Cup of Joy talks about the things that we're all wrestling with, especially, pertinent in summer too, right? We talk about burnout, we talk about our boundaries, we talk about honestly, like why self care kind of needs a rebrand, but of course it's so important. So we're talking about my experience back in 2017, the signs of burnout that I missed, what finally made me stop and pay attention. We're talking about the lies that were sold about hustle culture and that do it all myth. We talk about self care, and while it could be like a spa day, it's so much more than just the bubble bath. It's those daily doable and really absolutely essential things that are keeping us grounded and keeping us present and in the moment. And we do talk about my 5 pillars that have helped me climb out of those moments of overwhelm and keep me in that place of being able to carve out space for myself. We talk about the authentic self-care planner and how it came to be and how it's helping so many women reclaim their time, their energy, their sense of self. And it's really just like a honest and hopeful episode. It's that reminder that you don't have to earn rest. You are allowed to change your story, even if you're like in the middle of a chapter, you're ready, you're okay. You could like write a whole new book if you want to. So if something in this episode resonates with you, if you want to take better care of yourself, but you're feeling like it's too much, definitely check out the Juggle is Real Authentic Self Care Planner. It's not just like a workbook, it's not just a guide, it's really a way back to yourself. It's that summer sidekick and a fall reset. And it's all like rolled into this one really easy, really manageable thing. So you can grab it on Amazon if you search The Juggle is Real. Of course, if you head to the notes for this podcast episode, there's going to be a link there. So get to those show notes. But in the next week, I'll be back. I'm going to be recording new episodes, and we've got some really great ones coming up as well. But until then, please enjoy this replay. Pour yourself something hot or cold or whatever feels good, and know that we are all together, of course, in this juggle. Let's dive right in.
This is the Juggle is Real podcast. I hope you feel seen, that you realize your worth, lighten your load, and prioritize your own needs. As we hear from leading experts and well-known faces in the wellness, entrepreneurship, education, and motherhood space, I hope you gain insights, proven practices, and learn actionable tools to help you enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. Most of all, I hope you find what you need to simplify, streamline, and supercharge your own journey of better balance and self-love. Are you with me? Let's get started.
Okay, Andryanna Gonco, educator, speaker, author, and host of the Juggle is Real podcast. Welcome to your cup of joy.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm very, very excited to talk to you because as a fellow mom of three, I obviously understand that the juggle truly is so real. And I actually saw a video yesterday when I was thinking about our conversation today, and I was like, wow, this is perfect timing because it was someone trying to balance on this big track that was like moving like very unbalanced, and they kept like almost falling but not quite, and it was like 30 seconds of this just being bounced around and moving, and the text on screen was like me when someone says that you're juggling motherhood so well. And it just like resonated so well with me because sometimes it feels like we're just holding on by a thread.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. And it's so true. I was laughing to myself yesterday because I was thinking, okay, like heading up to bed, I was like, I got the lunches ready for tomorrow. I know what the kids are going to be wearing. And like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, I'm going to go read a book. Like everything seems pretty organized. And I go to switch on the light and it's a chandelier with like 10 light bulbs and 2 light bulbs turned on. Like 8 of them were burnt out and like 2 of them I was like, okay, yeah, that seems about right. You know, like there's always something. And,
Always.
you know, last night I was like, well, there's no chance I'm hanging off on the side of the edge here to change light bulbs. But like that
Yeah.
is such a good metaphor for motherhood, you know?
It's so, so true. And I feel like, yeah, the struggle of motherhood is wild. The juggle is obviously extreme. And it's very fitting that we're talking today because yesterday I got a notification on my phone. Our kids, like daycare school, will text us when there's updates or things happening, but it's usually quite last minute. And so yesterday I got a text that was like, hey, tomorrow's pink shirt day at school. And I was like, oh, like my kids just grew into a new size. Like they don't have anything. We have like a few outfits that fit them. It's on my list of things to do. I have to clean out their closets. Like I just started running down the list of things I needed to do. Immediately, I opened the Amazon app. I was like, how fast can I get 2 pink shirts here? Like they need to be wearing these to school. I ordered them on overnight delivery. Obviously, they didn't make it on time this morning.
Right.
So my kids went to school not in a pink shirt. I'll have a pink shirt by 10 p.m. tonight at my front doorstep. And I just felt sick. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like the teachers are going to think I'm a terrible mom. The other parents are going to see a picture of all the kids in pink shirts except mine and be like, oh, Ariana sucks. Like I just started ruminating on how terrible of a mom I am. My kids are going to feel bad because they're feeling left out because they didn't wear a pink shirt. Anyways, the juggle is very, very real.
My kids have gone to school wearing my pink shirts on past pink shirts day, and like nowhere does it fit. Like it's down to their knees and whatnot. But like I'm laughing
Yes.
because to your point, like my kids like soccer, and so they were wearing messy jerseys. Like I don't know if that counts for anti-bullying, but it was pink, and so like I have learned to let a lot of things slide through this journey and through just experiencing different hardships and challenges. And so it is interesting because I can remember when my kids were younger and like very much feeling so much guilt and shame and anxiety about the smallest of things that now, I mean, I've been around, taken a few laps on this motherhood journey. My oldest is 10. I can let a lot slide and just kind of roll off my back and be like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, this is not one thing that I'm going to worry about. And I think that has allowed me to, you know, be able to be where I'm at and to continue on. But I totally feel that because that was me for sure.
Well, you are giving me hope because I have been ruminating on it all morning, just thinking, are my kids having the worst day? Like, I'm such a bad mom. Obviously, I care about anti-bullying. Like, this is something I'm very passionate about. How did I not know? Anyways, you're giving me hope. And it's a really good segue into kind of starting off where I wanted to start in asking you to take us back to 2017 when you really realized that you were, close to burnout. What were some of these like big red flags that you were like, okay, this is not good?
Yeah, that's a great question. And some of my memory's fuzzy. I think I've blocked out a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I often will say is, and I wrote the preface for my self-care planner, the story that was me, which was there once was a girl who tried to be perfect. And so, yeah, I was the mom who wanted to stay on top of every school spirit day. I was the president of the school council. I made sure that, if someone needed cookies baked, I don't like baking. I know you love baking. I don't. I love cooking. Do not like baking. I was like, I will do it, like signing up. And I felt like I needed to be on top of every single thing. I wanted to make sure my house was clean. I would Swiffer and mop the floors every single day. Like, I just thought I had to be perfect. In my career, I was the same. And so, like, I was the very typical high achiever. I felt like I had to be the last person out of the office. Like, I wanted my code to be in the security system. So everyone knew, like, I was the last one who left every single day. And I just, could not say no to anything. And of course, in this pursuit of trying to be perfect, I inevitably wound up never achieving that. And because I was striving for perfection and falling short, I would feel bad and I would feel like I'm doing something wrong and I must not be doing things properly and I must try harder. And I was constantly trying to do more. And of course, like, when you're trying to do everything for everyone else, you're not anywhere in that equation, right? And so
Totally.
I had some red flags, the whispers, they eventually turned to screams. But some of the things that, looking back, I can see so clearly are like, I was unintentionally losing weight. So I was not exercising. I was not watching, what I was eating, but I was missing a lot of meals. I was losing weight unintentionally. My skin was the worst it's ever been, like, even through my adolescent years. I was breaking out. I didn't know why. And, there weren't creams or anything that was making it better. My hair was thinning. And I often felt like I was trudging through mud. Like, you just have to keep going. But I never felt good. Like, I never felt well, but I just thought, this is how it is, right? Like, this is what it's supposed to be like. And it's supposed to be hard. And if it's not hard, I'm not doing it right. And I can remember going to see a doctor, a naturopath, and kind of explaining this. And one of the big things that caught her off guard was like, I couldn't feel like I could catch my breath. Like, I always felt like I couldn't take a full deep breath. So anyway, after going through a lot of these things, I did get some blood work done. And, it was beautiful that I had that wherewithal to actually go to see a healthcare practitioner about it and explain what I was experiencing, because I didn't know anything about burnout. It wasn't something that was, popular at the time. It wasn't something like, I'm pretty sure like the WHO has recognized workplace burnout since 2017, but it wasn't something that, I was readily reading about or knowing about. Mm-hmm. And so it was scary. It was challenging. I didn't understand. I again was blaming myself, and I thought, well, I screwed up again, and I guess I should just try harder to, again, overcome this problem. But I have learned, and thankfully, by experiencing these things and going through these challenges, I've learned that perfection is impossible. I've learned how to, care for myself. And one of the first ways was literally, Ariana, the doctor told, she's like, we're going to set a timer. And once every hour, you're going to take 10 deep breaths. And I was like, who's got time for that? It's like, as if, like, are you joking? She's like, okay, once every 2 hours, take 10 deep breaths. I can just stop what you're doing and take some like deep belly breaths and just focus on your surroundings. Like, where you are, that you're safe in the moment, and these like nervous system regulation tools, right? Again, did not know what that was, did not know nervous system dysregulation, knew nothing about any of these like fight, flight, or freeze, knew nothing about any of this, but was like, okay, if this is what it's going to take, I guess out of my very busy life, I can make time to take a few breaths. Right. And so I laugh saying it now, but at the time it was a challenge for sure.
For sure, because adding anything to your plate when you're already feeling like it's overflowing is extreme. Like it sounds so, oh, I can't take 10 deep breaths, but like when you're in the depths of it like that, you actually can't. Like it's very difficult to take that step. And I totally understand that so much. And it's interesting to me how you say like, oh, like it should be hard. Like that's what makes you successful or whatever. Like I think we're told these things like no pain, no gain. Like it must be uncomfortable to get you to a place of a success. There are all these things that we're told. And then we begin to really believe because the more it's said to you, the more ingrained it is. And even if you're not like verbalizing that, maybe it's in your mind. I feel like I'm in that often. Like, oh, I can just do one more thing. Like I should test myself. I should challenge myself. I should push myself. But I think that there's a line for that to be healthy versus not, you know? Was there like a turning point for you maybe that made you realize like, okay, I have to make a change?
I can remember. So at the time I was working full time at an ad agency, and I was also working part time at the college where I live, teaching marketing courses. And I had 2 young kids at the time. And there was one week that was like particularly full, and I was the like head planner for like this big school-wide poster contest that was happening. I was also in charge of a golf tournament that was happening that week. I was also part of this gala organization that was also occurring, plus my normal day-to-day tasks, and a trade conference for like car parts, automotive parts, all these different things, right? And I had my clothes and shoes in the backseat of my car. And I was just very literally like going from one place to another and having to change like from like work boots to heels and a dress to like golf shoes and all of these different things. And I missed bedtime every single night that week. And it just like, it crushed me. Like I felt like I was just not measuring up, and I was just an absolute wreck. But again, trying to put on this front, like, okay, everything's okay. And I'm the perfect mom and I'm the perfect colleague and I can do it all. But it was like inside, it was terrible. And I knew that something had to change, but I did not know where that change would begin. I didn't think that I could make any shifts within my life that could amount to feeling any better. So yeah, that was kind of where things started to crumble. But thankfully, I was able to take that realization. And I think it's that awareness, right? Like to actually recognize and pull yourself out of that situation and like see myself like hovering above myself and being like, hey, like this is not okay for you. Mm-hmm. This is not what you want. This is not fulfilling. This is not bringing you joy. This is not how you want to be leading your life. And you're sick because of it. You're not, living to what you thought, you wanted to feel like. So it was just like those that awareness of it, which led to like, once you have that awareness, like, I don't want this, then you can start thinking like, well, what do I want? And that was like such a crazy question, because as a mom, especially, like, how often are you asking yourself, like, what do I want? And I had not been asking myself that at all whatsoever. I did not put myself on my to-do list whatsoever. But when I started just thinking about it, like, well, what do I want? Well, I don't want to be working from like sunrise to sunset, not being able to see my kids. I don't want to feel like I'm constantly failing. But what do I want? Well, I do want more time with my family. I do want to be able to pause. I do want to be able to feel like I have boundaries in place, that I can say no, that I can leave my office at a decent time, have dinner, like the like very simple things. But once you start asking yourself, then it's incredible how you can make room for those small and simple shifts. And like, it was the most small things at first. It was not like crazy overhaul and crazy life shifts, but it was like, okay, well, can I have some peace in my day? Okay, well, can I wake up 15 minutes earlier? I'm going to start by writing a couple of things that I'm grateful for. And just that very small thing, I never thought I was a morning person, but now it is still part of my day where I'm like, I have to wake up before my children. And that is like the most beautiful thing, because it allows me to be like, okay, it's the calm before the storm. But I know that if I have that time, then I can, like, greet my family, greet the day, feel like there's a little bit of composure before things inevitably get chaotic.
Totally. And I love that you talk about starting small and making just like little changes, because sometimes I think, especially when you're in the thick of it, even a little change just seems so daunting. And so it can seem like it must be this huge overhaul, or that you have to like change your entire lifestyle, but really you don't in order to see big change. I think that little small habits can make a huge difference. And it kind of goes into my next topic that I want to talk about a little bit, which is self-care, because I think that is like basically all of this. And the whole reason that I wanted to start this podcast was to talk about self-care in a way that wasn't making people feel guilty about doing something for yourself, because it's so easy. The mom guilt is so real. Like, anytime I want to do anything for myself, I would feel bad. I remember in the early days postpartum, like, I wouldn't even go pee when I had to pee because I didn't want to put a baby down, like it's wild that even our immediate actual needs aren't always met. And so I love asking people what their favorite way is to practice self-care, because I've realized that everybody's definition of self-care is so different. And it's very interesting to me. Some people think like, oh, it's a full spa day with services and it, has to cost lots of money and take lots of time. And other people are like, oh, like I wake up 10 minutes before my kids are going to get up and practice gratitude. So you do talk about self-care beyond the bubble bath, which I love.
Totally.
Can you explain this and share with us maybe your favorite ways to practice self-care?
For sure. And just to start off, when we're talking about self-care, I know that this topic is so, I don't know, run of the mill now, and we use self-care in so many different ways. And so there are so many meanings for everyone. And I love that you recognize that as well. And so, like, for the Juggle is Real podcast, I started it because I recognize that before we can get to caring for ourselves, we have to get over the fact that it's okay. Like, we have to, in order to be the mom, the wife, the boss, the friend, the colleague, et cetera, we have to first like be there for ourselves. Totally. And I get it. Like the whole mom guilt thing is so real, and we have such unrealistic expectations, and we put these things on ourselves, and, society perpetuates these unreal expectations as well. But I believe it was Glennon Doyle who said, every time you're given a choice between disappointing someone else and disappointing yourself, your duty is to disappoint someone else. And it can sound so harsh and it can sound crazy, but like, I am now the number one priority in my life. And I know that there might be a listener who is like, oh my God, that is a terrible thing to say. And I know I've got 3 beautiful boys. I have a husband whom I love so much. I have the most incredible family and great friends. But I, like me, Andryanna, am the most important thing in my life. And as soon as I recognized that and started asking myself, well, what would I love? What do I need? Then I was so much more capable and had so much more capacity to then be there with so much more presence for my boys, for my family, for all of the things in my life, my career, etc. I mean, I don't know what the exact statistic is, but women experience higher rates of perfectionism related anxiety than men. Like, it is through the roof more. And I think when it comes to self-care, like, how can you just show up for yourself in small ways? So it can be a bath, it can be a spa day. Of course, it can be all of these things, but it should be something that works for you. If it's going to stress you out to leave your family and head out on the weekend for a girls trip, then that's maybe not going to be caring for yourself in a way that's doable right now.
Yeah.
But can we keep it simple? Instead of adding more to your plate, can you stack things into what you're already doing in your routine? Like these very small and simple things. And so that's why I created the Juggle is Real Authentic Self-Care Planner, because it is so different for everyone. But when we're coming down to it, what has worked for me is just making small commitments to myself, little promises of things that I can do within 5 areas of my life. And I have found over the past 4 years that by doing this and checking in with myself on a regular basis, it has created habits that, then have stuck. And even if it's something as small as like, I'm going to use the fancy body wash in the shower. Like I don't have to save that for a special occasion. I can, pour into myself in these small ways. If I have 10 minutes, I'm going to take a walk around the block instead of like mopping the floors, like these small and simple things that are pouring into me. And when I commit to myself, I make these promises to myself, like I feel like I owe it to myself to make good on these promises, so there's small things, there's simple things, and they can be big things too. But repeating these tiny self-care habits are really effective in the long term versus like these big occasional gestures, because those are the things that are going to keep you going. Those are the things that are going to keep you feeling like, you know what, it's like this little bank of self-care. And I'm just like making these little deposits every day, walk around the block, 10 minutes of deep breathing. I'm going to journal. I'm going to listen to my favorite podcast, these little things. You're making these little deposits. And then, you've got this piggy bank that's like, the return on the investment is so great.
I love that. And I love that you're saying like, even just like using the fancy body wash or taking an extra 10 minutes in the shower if that's what you want, or like because I don't like to be rushed. So lately I've been showering at night and I have a little shower steamer and it's got some lavender and it calms me. And once the kids are in bed, like I know they're not going to wake up, then I can relax. So like for me, that is a form of self-care. I can take as much time as I want. I can chill out. I can blow dry my hair, and it's just like me time. And I love that. But I think that it's something to note that you're like really noticing like, okay, I'm doing something that makes me happy. And I think when we're mindful of it, that's the switch, because it could just become like kind of everyday things like, oh, I'm taking a shower. Sure. But when you're doing something like a little bit luxurious or something a little bit different, just being mindful and grateful of it, I think does make that switch in your mind.
100%. And, like with all these little things that we're doing, I think, one of the pillars that I choose to focus on is what I call discard. So when you're doing these regular little check-ins, like what is something that you can release or let go of or remove from your plate? Like I think we just continually are piling things on and piling things on.
Literally.
We're saying yes to all the things. And then we feel stressed because we're like, well, I haven't done any self-care. And then we're like, oh, now I'm failing. But what can we choose to let go or remove? And I'll give you a quick example, because I mean, I think oftentimes like it's easy to fall into these patterns that maybe feel like easy or feel like they're, good for us, but maybe are harmful in the long run. And this is like literally no judgment to anyone, but I used to have this pretty bad habit where I would watch and binge Netflix every night before bed. And I would watch these shows that were like dramas and, like murders are happening and all the detective things. And I would stay up much later than I wanted to. I would continually be, pressing like, are you still there? I am still here and I'm still watching. And I just thought, like if I want to wake up earlier and I want to have this, this moment of like peace and calm and coffee that's hot, like I should be going to bed earlier and I should be getting the sleep that my body needs. So what if like just for the next month, like I force myself to like stop the Netflix by 8:30 and then I'm going to move to like read. And I used to love reading when I was younger. I used to read all the time. And then somewhere in my 20s, early 30s, I completely stopped. Yeah. And I thought, well, what if I can replace that? And if I don't like it, like it's there, I can always pick that back up. But what I found when I released that habit was that it was really much better for me. And I felt so much better in the long run. And I still watch shows. I still like watch Netflix and different series and all of the things. But now I just have this boundary with myself where I'm like, okay, well, this is the time when I'm going to move to like reading or doing something else. And I'm okay with that. But it took like a little bit of thinking like, okay, well, what do I want and what is going to be best for me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I love the mindset too of like discarding, like taking something off, because often when I'm thinking of self-care, I'm just thinking of what things should I do instead of, and then it does become overwhelming. Like, how am I going to fit in time for that? How am I going to make that work? Okay, I'll just be tired for the day because I'm going to have to wake up earlier, and that's just how it goes. But you're right. You can just release something, and that can be fulfilling also when you see the effects of that. So I love that.
100%.
And you just touched a little bit on The Juggle is Real, the authentic self-care planner and activity book that you have for busy moms, which seems like every mom that I know is a busy mom. We do a lot. So can you shared a bit about what inspired that, but how does this planner really help women like prioritize themselves or not feel like they're so busy? Share
Totally.
with us a
Yeah.
little bit about it.
It was built out of necessity, you know, like it was pandemic lockdown times. My
Oh, yeah.
youngest was born in 2021 and I was still working. I had a full-time course load at the college. My two older children were being virtual schooled and, you know, the juggle was real. I had already experienced burnout. I knew that I had to maintain some semblance of caring for myself in
Mhm.
order to, you know, just keep my head afloat during that very challenging time that was so hard for everyone across the
Yep.
board. So I thought like, okay, I'm obviously not going to be meditating for hours a day, getting out on these self-care like weekends, everything's closed down and whatnot. I don't have that capacity or ability right now. So what can I do? And so I created the 5 pillars and it was so helpful for me. I just shared it like as a free download and it's still available online. You can go to my Instagram or whatever and you can get this 30 days for me guide. And I thought like let's start here and it worked so well that I thought let's keep ourselves accountable to these commitments. And so it's based around 5 pillars of well-being, which are to nurture, to nourish, to move, grow, and discard. And so in each of these, it's like, well, how can you commit to yourself in a small and simple way that is that act of love? Like, how can you show that nurture that you are giving to everyone else for yourself? How can you nourish yourself? Like, what can you commit to in a small way? Like, whether it's taking your vitamins or like waking up and having some water instead of going straight to the coffee. Like, what is a small thing that you can do to nourish your body, to fuel your body? Same with movement. You know, it's not a no gain, no pain, no pain, no gain mentality. It is like, how can you move your body in ways that are really helpful and loving and ways that feel good to you to give you that energy that you need? And then to grow, like to really like lean into that personal development and that growth mindset. You know, we live in a world that really emphasizes all of the bad things and the negativity. So how can we focus on the gains, the small wins, celebrate ourselves, celebrate that growth? And then, of course, we talked about discard, which is my favorite. Like,
I
what
was
can
going to
you
say
let
my
go
fave.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is really good. And it can be as simple as like muting the notifications on your phone. Like, what can you release? Or is there a boundary you can set? Or is there something that you can do a little differently? And so it's a 3-month planner. So you set your commitments at the beginning of the month. And then there's a check-in every day where you are reminding yourself why it's so important to be caring for yourself, where you're celebrating the things that you've done, where you're leaning into gratitude, and you're just reminding yourself why you're so worthy of the care that you're giving to yourself. Because I think we can all have the best intentions, and I know I certainly do. And you know, in particularly full weeks and busy months, I can let things slip. And then I'm reminded like, oh yeah, like it was really helpful when I did, you know, do that yoga, you know, or when I did take those walks. And now I'm not feeling as good. Now I'm feeling a little like sad or grouchy or whatever. Like, what has changed? Okay, well, maybe I need to carve out some more space for myself. And so, yeah, it's been really helpful for so many women, so many moms. There's a few short stories sprinkled in from the experiences I've had and some big fails that I've turned into blessings and lessons that I've learned. And it's just a tool to help you and remind you how worthy you are.
That's amazing. Because even you just saying this, like it obviously prompts things in my mind of my own life. And I think when you are busy, the things that you're practicing or doing for yourself are the first things to go. So like if something has to fall off of my plate, if I'm busy, like the first thing in my calendar to go would be like my walk. And implementing walks like a few months ago was like, it's like 10 minutes. Like I literally just go around the block at the office just for like a little breather. But that will be the first thing to go if I feel like overwhelmed or my inbox is flooded or I have a call or something. And I'm just realizing now, like I can't tell you the last time I actually went for a walk. And I can tell you that the impact it had when I was going for walks was very, very great. So now I'm feeling like, okay, I need to do that again. So when you're saying that you get these daily prompts or like note, maybe not notification, but like check-ins, I think that's what's necessary because it's so easy to forget. It's easy to just be like,
100%.
oh, it's okay. Like the day was busy. Now I'm picking up the kids. I'm going home, making dinner, and then it's bedtime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in this planner, do you get these reminders daily?
Yes. So there's every day, there's just like, it doesn't take long, like 2 minutes. You just do this little check-in to recharge and reset. So you're like just saying like, and you can choose, like you're committing to yourself, but like, what are you going to do today? Like, and you can do it at the beginning of the day, end of the day. Like it's not a set time, but like you're caring for yourself and you're actually going to write it out because studies show that like that, level of just simply jotting something down, it does something to your brain. It's just a little different than thinking it, right? And you're going to remind yourself why it's helpful, So taking the walk for 10 minutes on your lunch or whatever you're doing is actually going to make you more efficient. And you're going to maybe get some great ideas because you've had a second to stop, or maybe you're going to solve a problem because you give yourself that minute to think about it. It's going to make you more productive in the long run, or it's just going to make you feel better, which allows you to then focus on your work in a better way, something like that, right? So you're just going to remind yourself why it is important. And then you're going to celebrate it. Like you are proud of yourself because you are doing these things and you matter and it's great. And you can, just celebrate those little wins and focus on those moments of gratitude. And so like, just like really simply, like I was recently at a hockey tournament with my middle guy. We lost to make it to the finals by 0.02%, right? Like, so we're thinking like, oh my gosh, that's brutal because we were so close, right? And of course, there is a level of disappointment, but like, what can we lean into? And it just shows like, that we are these mirrors for our children and we're
Very
really
much
setting
so.
an example. But they did so well. They made it this far. Now they have the ability to have a free night and relax and hang out and swim in the pool and do these things. We're able to leave early in the morning, get an early start on the day. The roads were great and ended up being like a blizzard the next day. So it's like when we're doing these little things, when we're focusing on the gains, when we're focusing on these silver linings, and in motherhood, there's so many beautiful things that are kind of like hidden within all of the chaos and like craziness. But like when we're like, oh my gosh, yeah. And remember like, I was able to cuddle with, my youngest and he said this really cute thing to me, like just making those little notes and I was present for it and I was able to like actually listen versus like, not being there or yelling or like not having the energy to like even read him that story. So it's just like all these little things when we're reminding ourselves, I think that, what you focus on expands. And so, yeah, it's just that little reminder that you matter, your needs definitely matter. It is not selfish, and when you're showing up for yourself, then you can also show up for those around you in your best light.
I could not agree more. And when you're saying, I keep thinking about these 5 pillars because I just absolutely love that. One of the things that, so my kids are young, like the twins are 4, my daughter's 2, but we're starting to have like more conversation around the dinner table. They are more able to tell me about their day. So I often ask them like, what was your favorite part of the day? Almost like leaning into like a peak and pit or like a rose and thorn kind of thing, which seems very simple, but I just think is like such a great kind of tradition or thing to do to really check in with your kids or your family or whoever is important to you in your life. And so I'm just thinking about these 5 pillars and thinking like how cool as my kids grow to actually implement the things that I'm learning for them. Like how cool to be able to translate to them like, okay, let's nourish your body. Like what do you need today to do that? Let's move our bodies. Like what should we do? Are we going to go? They love to go for a bike ride. Like these are things that they like to talk about. And I think I'm trying to start to have those conversations with them to teach them why it's important. And so splitting it into those 5 pillars is just so cool. And I think allows for so much learning from a young age for our kids.
For sure. And viewing these things as like these incredible things, like often, and as women, we're taught, at a very early age about body image and different things. And I think things are changing now, which is really, really great. But, elder millennial over here, like I grew up watching Cindy Crawford and Claudia Schiffer and like seeing Kate Moss on the runway and, like it affects you. It affects you.
Totally.
But thinking like, how can I fuel my body in a way that's going to be helpful? It is not like a diet. I am not like, trying to lose 5 pounds. I'm trying to do things that feel good, that make me feel good. And it does spill out onto the kids. We talk to them and definitely a lot of hockey references, but like when we are at a tournament, it's like, well, how are we going to fuel our body? And if we're out for a team dinner or lunch, I'm like, well, what's going to fuel your body? So it's not going to be the Sprite or the root beer. It's going to be to drink a lot of water. Right. And now they're thinking about it and they're making those choices. And we know like there is a time and there's a place where that is going to be the choice. And that's what's going to be supportive for you, and having that fun and enjoying the treats and the snacks or, whatever it is. And we definitely do that. But thinking of it from a perspective of like, how can you really focus on your well-being and making sure that like physically, mentally, emotionally, you're well. I think that, as adults is so important, but our children definitely see everything that we're doing and how we're doing it. Whether we're criticizing ourselves or we're celebrating ourselves, they can pick up on that as well.
And they do pick up on everything. Like I'm really learning that very quickly. And I think that part of it for me, like to have these conversations with my kids and to be open with them about the decisions I'm making and the things that I'm doing to practice self-care, has actually become part of our like daily routine and has helped me be able to release the guilt. Like the guilt was put on by me. It was not put on by the kids. They're not telling me, Mom, don't go. Like they just want to understand what I'm doing. So instead of when I would go to the gym, I'd be like, oh, Mom's just going to work. Like I would just like kind of fib because that's just what they knew when I left the house, I was going to work. And then I started to say like, oh, no, I'm going to the gym. And then I would start to take videos and show them. And now my kids love to see, like, Mom, did you go to the gym today? Like they want to see what I'm doing. And they asked, like, why do you go to the gym? And I said to them, like, so that Mommy can be strong because I want to play with you. Like, I want to ride my bike with you and keep up. I want to be able to jump on the trampoline with you and have so much fun. And so now if they see me grab my running shoes, they're like, Mom, are you going to the gym to get strong today? Like they know. And immediately it makes me feel better about my decision. And it's almost just like reinforcement to know that like they're watching me fill my cup and they're going to know that filling their cup is important too, because they do model our behavior.
Totally. Yeah. Brene Brown said, we cannot give our children what we do not have. And so if we want our kids to grow up knowing that they're worthy of the care that they desire, worthy of rest, like we have to model it. Right. So yes, like I'll be doing Zumba. I just recently downloaded the Zumba app because I don't have the space right now in my schedule to like drive across town, get changed, go to the thing, come back. Like it just wasn't working. So I'm like, well, how can I do this? Like my kids are doing Zumba with me. It's hilarious.
I love it.
And they're like, oh, Mom, are you doing Zumba today? And my youngest can't even say Zumba, but like he just like, it's so cute. And same like, I can't tell you how many times my kids have joined me on my yoga mat and they do a couple like downward facing dogs. They'll do like a quick stretch and then they're out, but they're seeing me do it. And I think it's so important to see those things. It's so important to see, in these different roles that maybe we're feeling guilty about. And most importantly, about like women resting and moms resting and our children seeing us like putting our feet up and not feeling stressed about it and not being like, okay, like I just gotta like empty the dishwasher. Yeah. So it's like they see that and they see that it's okay. And then it allows them when they need that time or when they're feeling overwhelmed or when they're feeling at capacity, like, okay, well, I know that it's okay to do this and I can do it too.
Yes, I
So
love
it
that.
is these super small things, but it does totally add up.
And makes such a huge difference. Now, you said that your mission is to support as many people as possible from having burnout, especially this year in 2025.
Mhm.
What inspired you for this mission?
I guess just the experiences that I've had and
Mm,
my personal journey.
mhm,
But like the biggest thing really is that as I've experienced it, I have realized that like my situation is not unique. Like some of the details perhaps are unique to me in my life, but this is happening so frequently, and so many people are maybe just not aware and maybe
mm,
can't recognize the signs, or are not seeing that there are other ways and there's a different path that you can take. And it's not hard. Like it can be easy, and you can lean into these ways to make it easier for yourself. And so if I look back on myself, early motherhood days, and the story that I was telling you earlier, compared to now, like those are two different people, like
aw,
completely different people.
yeah,
And so I just want everyone to know, anyone who's struggling, that there are easier ways and that you can do it in a way that feels better for you. So yeah, I would love to see more people caring for themselves in ways that are really authentic,
mhm,
and just leaning into this journey, because, it's so fleeting. It goes by so fast, and it
so
is
fast.
very challenging, but how can we make it easier so that we can enjoy it more? That's really
Yeah,
what it's all about.
because it is enjoyable. Like, that's the thing, is when you're so busy, it's hard to enjoy it. But I think when we just take a step back and realize what's important to us, that's when it becomes enjoyable. It's just hard to have that shift and to be able to, like, do that when you're in the weeds.
And
Is
in the
there
moment, be like, okay, my kids don't have pink shirts, but they are healthy, and like they've got like a packed lunch, and like they are so happy, and they love their teacher, and like they're so sweet right now. And it's just like being able to like just refocus in the
Mhm,
moment. I mean, it does take some work, and I'm not doing it right all the time. Like I'm still yelling sometimes, I'm still doing, but like being able to reframe things a little bit
mhm.
faster, and it not taking so long to be like, oh yeah, like I guess it wasn't that big of a deal, and I
Yeah.
could have, like just let it slide, or whatever it is, right? I think that's been the biggest lesson for me, is just like being able to reframe things in the moment and see the bright side, or like be able to take those few breaths and be like, okay,
Mm.
instead of
Yeah.
reacting, just be like, how can I respond from a way that is like, true to me and how I really want to be leading my life.
And you are so right. Like, I stressed so much this morning. My kids were so happy. They didn't care. They dressed themselves. They were proud that they got to dress themselves and, like,
And that's such a
have
win,
a great
right?
morning.
Like,
Yes,
what? Clears up so
exactly.
much time.
Yeah, and it was so nice. Like, we did have such a good morning, but here I am being like, "Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Like, I didn't have pink shirts." So, yeah, reframing and just thinking of the good parts, I think, is very important. But if somebody is feeling burnt out, what is, like, a first step that they could do today?
It's a really good question. I would just say give yourself some grace, and like tell yourself that you are amazing and you are so worthy of whatever it is that you need, and to ask
Mhm.
yourself that question.
Mm.
Like, what would make this feel a little easier? What do I need right now? And then like truly allow yourself to like come up with whatever that answer is, and then move into action on that. So if it is
Mm.
like I need to like rest, can you press pause? Can you cancel a meeting? Can someone step in and help you? And just coming back to asking yourself that question. I would say
Mhm.
definitely, if it's available to you, to seek out some care from a healthcare
Mhm.
provider, someone in your area that you can speak to see if there are any underlying things that you need to take care of. So many times I just think like this is a me problem, like like I need to
Yeah.
just figure it out by myself. But when I've learned to allow others to support me, or when I've learned to say yes to people offering, like people who are offering to help me, I used to feel bad and be like, no,
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 it's
it's
fine.
okay. Like I have like one strand of hair left on my head, I'm like, I got it. But like, yes, if people are offering to help you, like we can say yes and
Yeah.
like just allow it, or we can ask for help. And the sooner we can realize that, the sooner we can truly thrive, because we were not meant to do this by ourselves, and we might not have like the village that we want, or the village that we anticipated going
Mhm.
into our motherhood journey. But there are so many ways and so many things that we can really tap into that are going to make it just a little easier. So I would start with just asking yourself, like, what would make this a little easier? And then actually going ahead and doing whatever you think could help, because you know the answer, but it's just about allowing yourself to do it.
Totally. And starting small. Like, I think like your whole thing of taking a few deep breaths every hour or every other hour, like I'm going to try to do that. I think even when you said deep breath, I was like, whoa, and took like my first full deep breath of the day. Like, that's crazy.
I
I'd
do
never
the same
breathe.
thing. Yeah, I know, right? Like,
So,
let's all do it. Like, everyone listening, take a breath. Like,
yes.
take a nice, big, deep belly breath. It makes you feel so much better instantly. It's like wild,
Yeah.
you know?
And then
how
set your
shallow we're breathing.
timer for an hour from now and do it again. So I think that's a very good one. I usually end with some rapid fire questions. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's go for
I'm
it.
so interested. Okay, coffee or tea?
Ooh, coffee first thing, like do or die,
Okay.
and then tea the rest of the day.
Oh, nice. Sweet or savory?
Savory, 1,000%. I die for pickles, dill pickle chips also, but like I will
Wow.
eat pickles for breakfast. Yeah.
That's amazing. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh my gosh.
I
I
know
don't
it's a hard
know.
question.
Like, I'm going to say Home Alone, just because that is the
Amazing.
only movie that I continually come back to all the time. I just think it is so beautiful. And now my kids love it.
Oh,
Like, you know, rom-com. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
love.
Matthew McConaughey. Yeah.
Love. So good.
But I don't actually watch a lot of movies, like, to
Huh.
be honest. Like, we just went to see Sonic. That was my first time at the theater in like 5 years. And now it's all about the kids, right?
That's fun. That's very fun. And one thing that you never skip in your daily routine?
Like brushing my teeth. 100%.
That's a good one. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty hardcore brusher.
I am into that. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Andryanna. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? Where can they find your planner? Share that with us.
Yes. So if you wanted to go to Andryanna.com, all of the things are there. So ANDRYANNA.com. The planner is available on Amazon. So you can just search The Juggle is Real and it'll pop up for you. And I'm pretty active on Instagram. I love to share on there. So you can find me at Andryanna G. So that's my name, ANDRYANNA letter G. And yeah, it's been such a pleasure, Ariana. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved chatting, and I know we've got so much in common, and
Yes.
I really appreciate everything that you're doing to support other moms. It's awesome.
Hey, thank you for joining us, and I'll put all that stuff in the show notes too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Your Cup of Joy. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. And if this episode resonated with you, or if you've been loving this show, I would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you are listening. Your support helps the podcast grow, it helps it reach more people, and it means the absolute world to me. So keep filling your cup with joy, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.